Hello, this is Vision Denial. My name is Sam, and this is the Road to MSI 2022, where I go through every playoff series and watch every game from all participating regions. Yes, including that one. But I've already gone through all of them. Well, what's next then to just meet the teams? In this episode, we're looking at Order. The Australian first-timers in the international scene are a delight and a little bit of an anomaly in the international lingo of everything going on, as they have a particular branded style of play. So, what kind of branded style are we talking about? Well, let's just jump into it then, shall we? Meet the head coach, Ceres. Ceres, having been an active player for a good bit between 2017 to 2018, has jumped back and forth between player and coach of the academy scenes, all the way up until becoming the head coach of Order in January of 2022. And he's brought a level of confidence to the team that not had been previously seen from this organization. Order tends to ban a myriad of regularly seen options that may not jump out to people, but things you should look at is what people ban against Order. This being the only team in the entire world to regularly pull off, in almost every single one of their games, an Evelyn ban. They have a brand of way of approaching the jungle that's not too dissimilar to what the rest of the world may come from, but they have a nature of controlling the pace specifically by the way that the laners set up the jungler more often than the jungler Kevy sets up his various laners. So what does this translate into? Well, it looks kind of similar to the way that G2 operate, some form of controlled chaos. The difference here is that the amount of coordination is not always there, but they are consistent at being the first to get the Drake. They are consistent at getting the first Herald. They're consistent at keeping up against Drakes, not always leaving that as to their win condition. They're fairly efficient with their gold. The issue being that they don't balloon it frequently. The issue also being that their tower differential does not match their ability to control neutral objectives. They are not a lane-focused team. They are a neutral objective and team-fighting focused team. And this can result to a couple of different scenarios that usually bites them in the butt sometimes. It is not the greatest to see losing lanes across the board, but it is very good to see them have a set of coordinated effort. Not frequently do they have losing lanes, but this could be a bit of an issue given that the rest of their playoffs that they had 3 back-to-back 3-0s and only 1 5-game series, as the rest of the league, save for the Chiefs, seem to have given up. So, what did the players look like usually then? Let's start with BioPanther. BioPanther being a mainstay of the Oceanic region since 2018 as he joined Direwolves, gone from Direwolves to Pendant at GG, and now from the beginning of the year, Order. He has been maybe not the strongest laner of the league in his region, but has been a very flexible addition to the whole mix, adding into a bit of the chaos as being one of the 2 players to have picked up Nasus. Not successful, but this gives an idea that to the team of Order, flexibility and creativity is a first and foremost, with the coordination and then laning. And this has caused some issues for the team. That said, more often than not, the rest of Order seems to be able to keep upholding BioPanther and enabling him in ways where he's always able to catch up, and so that he can also benefit and help the team when needed. His roster allows him a lot of opportunities and options to be able to say, hey, we've got this, and we can set up fights or set up split pushes in ways that creates just enough chaos for order to strike. Next, we have Kevy. Kevy over here has been also pretty much a huge mainstay within the Oceanic League, having jumped from Direwolves to Peace, and he may not have the same long-standing effect as BioPanther, but he's definitely hit a very aggressive playstyle. Despite the kinds of champions that he holds, being somebody who has taken such a commanding presence in terms of the way that most teams draft against Order, his Evelyn speaks volumes alone. His use of the Diana, Hecarim, Lee Sin, and Viego, his most played champions are straight up assassins or assassin-like. And it reflects in how he's regularly anywhere between 2 to 3 camps behind, ahead in gold, ahead in XP, and hitting first blood, and with the high kill participation at 75%, he is always hitting it where it counts and creating the moves needed. Kevy, however, also has a bit of a bad habit of over-focusing the bottom side of the map, or even then sometimes just focusing on mid lane. And there's been some success to this particular method. He tends to accumulate a good portion of the gold and a large portion of the kills when needed, and he tends to use it very efficiently. He also tends to sometimes be a little bit over-aggressive, but this is not too unfamiliar with this team. Order tends to have this similar kind of playstyle as G2. Say hello to Kisee. Kisee has had a fairly young career, mostly in the academy scene, and only getting his debut into the LCO and the Oceanic Pro scene this year. Having joined Order, he's made a big splash for himself with a fairly thorough and large champion pool, doing a lot of overlapping with his different laners, but also encompassing zoning tools, sieging tools, tank, high damage, low damage, you name it, utility, and anything in between. He's flexible, and he takes the ability to stay ahead or stay relatively even when needed. And honestly, he's been a fairly impressive showing in terms of the LCO. Regularly keeping a note in my head the entire time he's playing. He will be super fun and a great time to see challenge a lot of the legacy region's best mid laners, or most of them, to say the least. He's had a very solid time at also navigating team fights to create the entire type of space and damage needed, as well as coordinating incredibly well with Kevy. Both of them as a duo have done a lot of work for the team to make sure that they have control of the neutrals when they want to play for it. And then we lead to Puma. Puma has been with Order for over a year and a half at this point. And to be quite frank with the whole team, he is the carry. Regularly playing things that are wildly flexible for a marksman, having played almost the entire game of the regular champions that you would have. Literally, I'm looking almost at the entirety list of the marksman class. He tends to pick lethality, regular crit, and hybrid all in a nice little package. Upkeeping the highest amount of first blood participation, the team frequently plays around him. And honestly, worth it. When he has a lead and he is given the time and space, he will use it to great effect. Having even taken things like an Ashe in 2 games, getting a 23 KDA on Ashe, incredible. A 21 KDA on Senna. This player will work with any given small lead and will balloon it personally. And even though I don't find him to be the flashiest or most mechanically proficient amongst any of the marksmen coming into the international scene, his consistency is what really stands out amongst everything. Consistently ahead in lane, consistently at the right place, the right time for team fights. And that's all you need at the end of the day. He may not be the flashiest or have the highest highs, but if you need somebody that's consistent and consistently ahead to make sure your team succeeds, he'll do it. Finally, we have the support Corporal, who is unique amongst the situation as he's been in the Japanese league since the 2020 season and has come back to the Oceanic League for the first time in nearly 3 years. And he's done a pretty good job for himself. He is a bit lower on the vision department than anything, but he is somebody who will be more than happy to create any type of pick needed. Being straight up just a team fighter, first and foremost, is what I see him to be. High kill participation, and you know what? Sometimes that's what your team needs. They need somebody in the support role that's ready to say, all right, let's go. All the power to you on this one. Corporal sparks me as not the strongest in the team, well as where BioPanther may be the weakest laner, Corporal overall is also the one that seems the most disconnected from the rest of the team. Going a little bit too far forward on occasions, but also still being somebody that can create space for Puma when, it seems the most opportune. It's fun looking at Corporal just go for early roams, finding picks, and I may not see Corporal making huge waves in the international scene, but Order has done great strides with him, and he seems to be able to keep the same kind of aggressive energy that, you know what, I love to see in a team that likes the chaos in and of itself. Overall, Order has been a surprise and a welcome surprise in terms of who's going to be representing the LCO in the international scene. This being their first title and their first showing in an international tournament that's sanctioned by Riot. They show a sign that the LCO and the Oceanic region look to be leveling up. Their coordination is a little bit better, with still adding that little bit of sprinkling and chaos that the LCO tends to love and hold dear. I do have a bit of worries that they did not get enough competition going into the playoffs, but the attitude that their coach and players show on the scene itself give me a bit of a nice hope that this particular underdog will do incredibly well and probably create some unexpected upsets. You guys let me know what you think down below. If you like this type of content, leave a like and subscribe. I will be doing this for a little bit, and we'll just be jumping into the next team. With that, I will see you next time.